Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you a secret ingredient that you can add to your trading strategy in order to multiply your returns many-fold. For me, it helped me multiply my returns about 4x compared to when I was not using my strategy. So I will talk about what this secret ingredient is. I will help you execute that in Python and run a backtest, and I'll show you the results of the backtest. The download link to our notebook will be in the description below so that you can follow along, and let me know in the comments how it improved your returns when you added this ingredient to your trading strategy. So having said that, let's come to the meat of the strategy itself. The secret ingredient I'm talking about is the trailing stop loss. What it does is pretty simple. It helps you let your winners run and helps you cut your losers faster. Let's look at an example here. So this is the S&P 500, and let's say we were entering a trade somewhere around here, okay? And let's put our stop loss. We'll put our stop loss around here, let's say. So we will take a take profit almost equidistant from the stop loss. So this is somewhere around here, let's say. So if this were a normal trade, the stock would go up and then we would hit the take profit somewhere around here, and that's where we would close the trade. But what happens if we have a trailing stop loss? What does the trailing stop loss do? When the stock is going up, the trailing stop loss is going to take the stop loss and go up by the exact same amount. So if my stock goes up from this candle to this candle by this amount here, the idea is to take the stop loss and increase it by the exact same amount, and also to increase the take profit by the exact same amount. And then we keep going like this. But when the stock price starts decreasing, we do not keep the stop loss lower. We just keep it at the exact same level. The idea is that as long as the stock is going up, so there is a long run up here when the S&P 500 keeps going up, and in this whole run up, we are going to take advantage of this run up and not close early. But as soon as there is a sort of sideways or a downward movement, we're going to hit that stop loss and we're finally going to exit the trade. And let me show you how that will exactly work out in this case. So if we were to do the exact same thing here, let's say this is where we would end up at the end of this candle. And then at the end of this candle, we would end up somewhere here. We would end up somewhere here at the end of this candle, and then so on and so forth. And then we would take advantage of this huge move here, and then we would move here. And then we would again take advantage of this huge move here. And this is the position where we are going to get stopped out when this large sort of move upward stops and we are in a sideways position. So we were able to cut our losers early and let our winners run for a longer time in order to make larger profits. Now let's see this in action in Python. So this is the notebook that I'm going to share with you, and you can download the notebook and add this trailing stop loss to your own strategy and see how it improves your returns. So how do we add the trailing stop loss to our strategy? So I have a series of videos where I teach how to create your own backtesting library, which I will link here in this video, and also how to backtest sort of different strategies, such as a random trading strategy, a strategy where you use a simple moving average, and so on. And I will link to all of those videos both in the description and in the video itself. So just to give you a little bit of context, we created this backtesting library, which we use to backtest all of our strategies. And if you are interested in sort of more detail about the library, you can check out the video linked above. But the basic idea is to describe a strategy, and this is a random strategy, which is the simplest possible strategy. And for each strategy, we say what is the entry point of a trade. For a random strategy, it's really simple. We get a random variable. If the random variable is 1, then we buy. If it's possible for us to buy, given the cash we have in hand. And then the exit is same for all our strategies, which is to try to close if we either reach a take profit or a stop loss in the, I think I can, yeah, so the try to close basically says if it's less than the stop loss, then close the trade, or if it's larger than the take profit, then close the trade, so on. Okay, so now let's see what happens in our current strategy. So in order to add a trailing stop loss, what we do here is to constantly keep updating our stop loss and our take profit values. So we have a function called update, which we call at each time point. So if the self is trailing is true for a given trade, so we define the is trailing, which is by default false. But if we define the is trailing is true, then for a given trade, we call the update function. And what the update function does is to take the take profit value. So it takes the take profit value and it says the new take profit value is the maximum of the current take profit value, and the current candle open value multiplied by 1 plus the profit percentage, which is like 1%, for example. So what this says is that 1.01 multiplied by the current candle open, if that number is larger than the current take profit value, make that the new take profit value. And similarly for the stop loss case. What this means is that if the current candle's open is larger than the previous candle's open, this number is going to be larger than what we had defined previously, and this is going to be the new stop loss. But if it's smaller, we are going to keep the current stop loss value, and this update is going to make sure that we are constantly updating the stop loss and the take profit at each time period. And now, when we call the try to close function at each time period, we will use the most updated stop loss value and the take profit value. So let's see how it's used in a strategy. So in a random strategy, the entry criteria is again just if a random variable is 1, you just enter a trade with a given stop loss and a profit percentage, which is 1%. Now, in the but if the is trailing is true, in that case we are going to execute the exact same sort of entry criteria, but in our exit criteria we're going to constantly keep updating the stop loss when we try to close these trades. That's the only difference. Let's see what happens to the results. So we use our traditional sort of Bitcoin 5-minute data that we've been using in all our previous videos. And this is Bitcoin data that is taken at 5-minute intervals in sometime around July of 2024. So when we executed the random strategy, this is the result that we got. We lost a bunch of trades in this region when the market was sort of trending down, and then the market started trending up and we randomly sort of entered some trades, which we were able to sort of win because of the uptrend in the market. And so if we just take the same strategy and add our secret ingredient, which is the trailing stop loss, what we observe is that we are able to improve our returns a little bit from 4.006% to 4.33%. And as you can see, what we ended up doing is we ended up getting this trade here, and then there was this huge uptrend. We were able to take advantage of this and we were able to make a large profit in this trade. So we might have ended up reducing our win rate. Yeah, so our win rate was 66%. We ended up reducing our win rate, but we were still getting better returns because now we have one trade which sort of makes this huge amount of profit. And that is the basic idea of adding the trailing stop loss. Now, let's think about the second sort of iteration we did to our strategy in our previous video. So we said that, when we do this random trading, the problem is we lose all our trades when the market is in a downtrend. So we are going to use the simple moving average to tell us when the market is in a downtrend. If the price is less than the simple moving average, market is in a downtrend. The price is larger than the simple moving average, market is in an uptrend. And I will link in the description to the video where we described this strategy. We were able to use that strategy to sort of eliminate trades during the downtrend and only take winning trades during the uptrend. Now let's see what happens if we add our trailing stop loss to this strategy. If we add the trailing stop loss, we are able to make some difference in the return from 4% to sort of about 4.3%. And as you can see here, we don't take trades here because it's a downtrend. We start trading trades here and then we make a huge profit in this trade because by taking advantage of this uptrend of the stock. And so again, our intuition is confirmed that this is exactly what the trailing stop is doing. But this is a very small amount of data and it's really hard to sort of make any statistically significant guesses based on how the strategy is doing based on the small amount of data. It's good for visualization, but for in order to make inferences, we're going to use a larger time frame. So we use about 5,000 data points here. And what we are going to do now is to take our trailing strategy and first show what happens. So if you are familiar with my previous videos, we showed that in these 5,000 data points where the buy and hold was doing badly, which is probably means the stock was sort of going down, the random strategy, purely random buying and selling, was doing even worse than the buy and hold. And then we used the strategy based on the simple moving average, which did better than the buy and hold, but still a negative set of returns. And now we use our secret ingredient, which is the trailing stop loss, along with the simple moving average. And now we are able to get returns which are larger than, which are positive and much better than the buy and hold. As you can already see, we made an almost 3% improvement in the returns simply by making a simple change, which is adding this trailing stop loss. But we can do better. We can optimize this strategy. And again, I will link to the video where I talk a lot about how to build an optimizer in order to optimize your strategies. And in all cases, you'll get much better results when you optimize the strategy. Most important thing to realize is that we are not optimizing on the same data. We're optimizing on a different data. We're optimizing on the first 2,000 data points. And these results are based on data points from 2,000 to 7,000, which is the next 5,000 data points. So we use our optimizer. We're optimizing over 3 different things: profit percentage, stop loss, and the value of the simple moving average. And we use the trailing stop loss as true in the strategy here. Where does that get us? So these are sort of parameters we use for optimization. And after only about 50 steps, we get this best parameters. And this also is actually something that is that makes sense intuitively. We're saying we'd keep a high take profit and we take a very small stop loss of 0.5%, whereas our take profit is 2.5%. So this allows us to immediately kill losing trades. If the trade goes down by 0.5%, we kill it. But then we keep sort of improving our stop loss as for a winning trade so that we can take advantage of the winners. And now what happens if we do this? see how we have been able to extract about 5.7%, which is a huge amount of return, about 15% more than the buy and hold return, which is literally amazing in a very small amount of time. So let's show again the progression of returns here. When we did a random strategy, our returns were worse than the buy and hold, minus 17%. Now we do the SMA strategy, we improve over the buy and hold, but still negative returns, minus 1.3%. Now we do the trailing stop loss with the SMA strategy. We are able to get positive returns, 2.5%, and we almost double the returns by simply doing one single trick, which is to add the trailing stop loss here, and we get a return of about 5.7%. Please let me know in the comments what happens when you add this ingredient to your trading strategy and backtest in Python on your favorite sort of financial instrument. And please like and subscribe this video and my channel if you want to see sort of new trading ingredients, new trading strategies, and their Python backtests. Thank you.